is journal description and default description. A very crucial setup, I'll tell you. Yes, here we have in the journal ledger module in journal setup, we have the journal description. In journal description, you might have observed like when we create any voucher, we have the description field here. So instead of typing the description with this amount, like transportation charges, payment for rent, instead of typing the whole description field, we can define the one short. So identification is the code that we can define. On this basis, the description can be picked automatically. So we can define like this, or we can define 01 also like this. Like if it is the rent related things, so payment of rent we can give. So every time when we're going to this journal line, or we have not to put the whole description again and again. Like ACQ, if I put and put the tab button, so this acquisition will come automatically. I do not need to type the whole description fields. So this is basically the journal description. This is just a simple thing. And this description is a common table for all the journals where description field is there. We can use this description everywhere, not on only vendor invoice, payment invoice, everywhere where description is there in the voucher lines. Now, the next is the default description. So this is something different. What is default description? David. This is the okay. Now we have the default descriptions. So in default description, in the previous case, we have provided description manually, but in the default description, description will come automatically. So we have to define the description. So description will come automatically based on the reference table name or reference field name that we have to configure it here. Like here, I have configured for this vendor payment. So here, let me show you. There is the fields by default fields provided by the Microsoft. In the description, we have these many fields where we can define the default description feature. Like for MRP related, project related, fixes related, purchase order related, vendor and customer related. So these are the description fields for which we can define the default description. Currently, I have done the setup already. So by default, there is a fixed variables. I have chosen the vendor payment, and language you can choose English, US English or in Indian English. So I have chosen the user language. Here the fixed variable first is that the %1 means date, and %2 means the form, and %3 means the voucher. And apart from this, %5 or 4, %5 we can define on our basis. Like I have added the parameter here, parameter 4. In this case, I have selected the prefer reference table. So reference table will automatically come when we select this description. I have selected the vendor payment. So reference will come automatically vendor transaction. Only one value will be there in drop down. So on this basis, in this vendor transaction, we have multiple fields. So in this table, we have the fields. On the fields wise, I can select the fields so that which fields I want on my description created by and transaction. So almost all the fields are there from this table. So once I have selected this, and similarly I can create many more as I want. For this I have selected the invoice, and the most important thing, we have done the setup. The default description will not come until we define the text here. This is important setup. So here I have given the fixed value like payment, vendor payment, and percentage one. If I put the percentage one, it means it will pick the date, the transaction date of the voucher. And this percentage two means this is the form name, the document number that I have provided. And percentage three means the voucher number of that invoice which we are going to pay. And percentage four means this one, created by field. And if I put the percentage five, it will pick the invoice number of that particular voucher. So I have already done this setup. Let me run the one process so that I can show you how it is coming by default.
So Deepak, what would be the difference between fixed and optional variable? Like,
This is actually provided by the Microsoft fixed person. I have not done any setup for this one. So this is the fixed means percentage one, percentage two, and percentage three. I cannot use these three percentage when I define my own parameters. So once I click on add, so it will automatically pick the next number of the three. That is, it will start from the four. I cannot make it three, one, or two because by default Microsoft has given this. If I do not want this fixed variable in my description, I just simply go here and remove this percentage one from here. That's it. There is not important. Okay. So let me put that. For example, I'm putting it again. So all the setup is based on this text value. Let me save it. So this is basically for the vendor payment. So I will go to the vendor payment journal. I'll create a new vendor payment. So this is the journal name that will be visible here. I'll go to the line. And line, I'll select the vendor, first vendor. And for this vendor, I want to run the payment proposal. So I have already defined the parameters and I have already provided the vendor details also. Click OK. So currently I'm having these two pending vendor invoices. I've selected for create for payment. So this is first line that I have created. It is going to delete this first line. So these two lines come automatically from the payment proposal, and I can see this is the description field. And description field, let me copy the description. So you can see this payment, vendor payment is the by default that come. Then by default, I have given the percentage one, which means the date of the voucher. So this is the that voucher date. And vendor invoice demo, this is the document that was the form number from percentage two. This is percentage three is our voucher number. This is the voucher number that is coming automatically from that particular voucher. This is not related to this payment voucher, but this is related to that invoice voucher. So this is the created by, and this is the demo 111. That is the last one was the invoice number on the invoice. The default description will come automatically. So likewise, we can do the setup as per the defined fields that has given Microsoft in the description. So I have just shown for this particular vendor payment only. So I hope this will be clear. This is something which we can use in our client or for our business. So this is the default description. Now coming to